The Deepdale duck is just pissing Bywater off. He's just nattering, having a pop at him. He gets chucked out.
Hello and welcome to Reminding You Why You Love Football, a weekly podcast from Mundial that does not mind blowing its own trumpet. Here are a quickfire 3 reviews from our recent audience survey. Keep the team as they are. They have great chemistry.
That's nice.
Oh.
I enjoy the content as it is. Sorry, I can't help with any improvements.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hello.
Yeah. Yes.
Hello, Mum.
My man.
It's a cracker. Has usurped other football pods I had listened to. My own time comes at a premium being a dad with 2 kids under 10.
There we
That's
go.
class. Thank
Seb,
you.
can I get a yee-haw, please?
Oh, go on.
Yeehaw!
And why do I want a yee-haw? And I want a yee-haw because on this day, the day this podcast is released, back in 1859, William H. Bonney, otherwise known as Billy the Kid, was born on New York's East Side, achieving infamy in his short life as an outlaw who was eventually gunned down by Pat Garrett. If you don't know, there's a great film with a brilliant soundtrack by Dylan called Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, Chris Christopherson as Billy the Kid and James Coburn as Pat Garrett. Great film, great soundtrack. If you've not seen or heard either.
Handsome man as well, Chris Christopherson.
Yeah.
Oh, one of my mum's faves.
But that takes me on to my colleagues today. I'm your host, Mundial editorial director, Cutthroat Owen Blackhurst.
Apt. Yes.
And joining me are Seb the Scorpion White. James Big Smoke Bird.
Big smoke.
James Big Smoke Bird. Yeah. And over there, on the other side of the table, Tommy Saddle Tramp Stewart.
Howdy, partner.
I got all of these names from a...
He said it was a good one. He told us it was a good one.
But I got all of these from a Western name generator, so I haven't just made them up.
Come here often? Not as often as I'd like.
Saddle Trump.
I'll be your Huckleberry. What film's that from, James?
The Huckleberry film, probably.
No.
Go on, tell us.
Tombstone.
Correct.
Oh!
Whoa.
Great performance by Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday. Kurt Russell as Wyatt Earp. A great moustache, something we talked about on last week's episode. Anyway,
Big
new
Kurt.
Listeners, this is a football podcast. I don't think we've mentioned it yet, but we will. So today, episode 29, this is out on the 23rd of November, and it's Xabi Alonso's birthday.
Oh.
My hero and my mate. So we've got shirts that are all connected to Xabi Alonso's career. So Tommy is wearing a Bayern Munich belter, as classic as it gets, red, blue, T-Mobile, big stars, done. Seb is wearing a Spain shirt from when they won the World Cup, I believe, or is that the Euros one?
This Euros one, this one.
Euros one. And then James is wearing a Bayer Leverkusen shirt because he now manages them. I've got the pick of the bunch today, a long sleeve black Real Sociedad away.
Oh.
So that's us. If you can't see them, sorry. Thanks to Classic Football Shirts. Xabi
Everyone
Alonso.
seen him in training? That video.
If you haven't seen the
My
video
word.
of Xabi Alonso and
My word.
coaching his Bayer Leverkusen players with his amazing passing, then seek it out because it's genuinely brilliant, and he is developing into the manager everyone thought he would
is,
be.
isn't he?
And it'll be a bun fight for which of his former clubs take him, because apparently his managerial plan includes both Liverpool and Real Madrid. We are 4.8 on Apple.
Whew, nice.
5-star on Spotify.
Hello.
Big smoke.
Our men are riding at dawn. We've got a posse to take down over on the over in the next county. We'll be celebrating with some whiskey and rye.
What, Devon?
Yeah, Devon. Yeah,
I quite like the people from Devon.
yeah. We'll be going to
Dorset, though, I can't be handling them.
Very Monty Python, that was.
Yeah.
What, Devon?
we'll be tracking them down.
Is it the haunted lads we're after?
It's just the haunted lads arriving on the horizon.
Uh-oh.
That's very good. Excuse me, sir, is that your real hair? Hey.
Blackhurst gone to the Bakerfield rifle. Ain't seen you round these parts for a few years, partner.
We thought you were dead!
It's haunted. We heard you've been talking about us on the. Whip him, Jim. Right, Adventures in Clubland. Adventures in Clubland. Today, the first item on today's programme. If you didn't enjoy that little bit of fan fiction there, which you might not have heard it. Anyway, this is Adventures in Clubland, and today it's me. We're going to Los Angeles in the 90s, and we're going to talk about a diminutive Salvadorian playmaker called Mauricio Cienfuegos.
Who?
Mauricio Cienfuegos.
Oh. Who is he?
I mean, Seb, you do know who he is because you were with
I
me.
do.
Until 2018, I'd never heard of this player in my life. Neither had Seb White, who knows a lot about football as well. And we went to Los Angeles as part of making an audio documentary about the first season of MLS. And we wanted to talk about Jorge Campos, obviously, who we'll come on to in a minute, and Kobe Jones and people like that. But everyone we spoke to started saying, we've also got to talk about Cienfuegos. Now, Cienfuegos was the Galaxy number 10 for 7 or 8 years. The headline of this adventure is he was there when LA won their first US Open Cup in 2001. He was there when they won their first MLS Cup, I think in 2001 or 2002. They'd lost in 3 finals before that. And he was also there when they won the CONCACAF Cup for the first time, and they had lost in 1 final a few years earlier. They were the second US-based team to win it. Because everyone thinks now of Galaxy as the most successful MLS club, which they are, but they weren't for a bit. It took them a while to get going. New England were quite a big team. And anyway, he was there for all of that. But more than that, he was a cultural and social icon in Los Angeles and remains so today. If the Galaxy put anything out on their social, remembering CN, it goes fucking bananas. It goes absolutely bananas. And the reason is because there was a big Salvadorian population in Los Angeles, and still is. So we went to interview Sunil Gulati, and Sunil Gulati was the deputy commissioner of the MLS for when it launched. And Sunil's role was getting the players, about thinking of all the cities and who they should get and why they should get them and doing the deals. He said, we went and got a guy named Mauricio Cienfuegos who was very inexpensive but sold more tickets in Los Angeles than anyone else did all the way up to David Beckham.
Wow.
And we had that confirmed. So on this trip, more and more people told us about Cienfuegos. We went and spoke to the Angel City Brigade, who are one of the original LA fan groups, and a fellow called Angel from the Angel City Brigade. His dad had been in the Rose Bowl for Galaxy's first game in '96. Wow. Yeah, so he was the guy. And if Kobe Jones was the sort of the All-American star, Cienfuegos was the Kobe Jones for the Hispanic community, the Hispanic fans. So we tracked down Jorge Campos on that trip. And we had lots of missed calls and walking around parts of LA. And finally, we met him. I think we've probably mentioned this before. We met him in a car park of a golf course in Westchester in LA. And we got into his Beamer, me and Seb in the back, Tayo in the front, recording, and Campos in the driver's seat. It was too hot, wasn't it?
Yeah. Getting progressively hotter.
He had the heating on to a level that I've never had in a car before.
Yeah.
It was like he was playing the hot game.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was unbelievable. So we started interviewing him, and then he, like Campos, was also signed because there's a huge Mexican population in LA. But he told us about Cienfuegos, and I think, have we got the clip, Tom? Are we playing the clip?
The new league in the United States, they would try to do something different. They say they were thinking to play here in Galaxy, in LA. A lot of Mexicans. A lot of Mexicans.
So he's getting
I said,
to it
wow.
now. So he's talking about the first game.
Something happened with Cienfuegos. I don't know if he told you the story. People told me, oh, Campos, you say you want to play, a lot of Mexicans come to buy tickets. It's a lot of people coming for you. Oh, thank you. So Cienfuegos, everybody knows Cienfuegos want to play. So we in the line, so Jorge Campos. The stadium was crazy. And I tell, hey, Cien, a lot of Mexicans. Mexico. It's funny. When I say, from Salvador, Mauricio Cien. Oh my gosh. Hey, I thought it's only Mexicans. It's when I remember, say, Cien, you are a hero in Salvador. The Salvador, more than Mexicans. I can't believe it. So, hey, Loco, he called me, Loco, you here? Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought the people come to see me. No, they went to see Cien. They go, oh my God.
Hey, loco.
That sort of like enshrined what we heard there, and Like there's great great clips of Cienfuegos, and he's a wonderful footballer. Left-footed, right foot, a great passer of the ball. Very clean technically, moves like all little number 10s, like moves as you'd expect, and scored some spectacular goals. His most famous goal is an overhead kick.
Oh.
He calls it the Caletta or the Saletta or something.
Yeah, because of the celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of
So what's the celebration?
It's almost like he's pretending to swim.
Right.
But he does this amazing overhead kick from the angle of the box, which loops over the keeper. But he scored loads of belters. I mean, and there's some of his clips are incredible. And we also Joe Totino as well. We met on that trip. Joe Totino has been the LA Galaxy announcer since 1996. So he called the first ever game. Yeah. And me and Seb interviewed him in this weird little room, didn't we, at the Galaxy Stadium?
Yeah.
StubHub Arena, is it called now?
Yeah. God.
And we said, who are your 5 favourite players? And he was like, Kobe, Landon, Beck, Zlatan, Cienfuegos.
Yeah.
That's the 5. And Cienfuegos is the one that I'd imagine anyone listening to this podcast who isn't a Galaxy fan will know the least about. But we could talk about game, we could go deep into games, but it's difficult to find a lot of it. But just safe to say, he was the number 10 and the hero when they won their first 3 big trophies. And also when there's a thing at Galaxy Stadium called The Ring, and it celebrates all the players who've played for them and made a big impact. And the first 3 people on there, one was an administrator, and I can't remember his name, and I do apologise because he died. But the first 2 players who were on the ring were Kobe Jones and Cienfuegos. Yeah. And he was just a hero, and he was coaching. He'd coached at the academy for 10 years. He was just knocking around the place when we were there. We didn't interview him, unfortunately. And now he's back at Salvador. I mean, when Siggy Schmid, when he quit, he was like, his impact on the Galaxy has been huge. He's been there from the outset. He is, he's as big a part of the Galaxy as anyone, as Landon or anyone like that. And I looked for, there was a shirt of his I looked for yesterday, and it's going for about 400 quid, 500 quid on eBay. A Cienfuegos Galaxy shirt from 1996.
Just a replica or a match one? Just a replica. Wow.
Well, when we went there, we went to the game. We obviously went to the tailgate party before with one of the supporters groups there, and most of the shirts had Cienfuegos on the back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't that Beckham. It wasn't.
Oh, more than anyone else.
Zlatan was there at the time. Wasn't Beckham. Wasn't Kobe Jones. Most of the shirt. In fact, I think the supporters group had made their own versions of that shirt as well.
Oh, okay.
They had.
Yeah, they had.
Yeah.
Because they were so expensive and scarce, they made their own versions. But it was all Cienfuegos 10.
MLS All-Star 5 seasons. MLS Team of the Year first 3 seasons.
Jeez.
Just a great little cult player that I don't think a lot of people know about, and you should go and seek it out. Go and have a look because it's one of them. It's right up your street, I think, as our audience.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I love that. I love that clip. I love that episode of Giant, and I love the fact that you've got a El Salvadorian and a Mexican on the pitch in Los Angeles, calling each other loco and going, look at this, and that's one of my favourite things to see in club football is when a club sign a player from a country where they might not have signed a player from that country before. So Hwang at Wolves, for instance. Yeah. And suddenly every game that you go to, there's a group of South Korean people watching. And that pride that you see in people who are from a nation where, your club, there isn't a huge Korean population in Wolverhampton, but just one single player can make that difference, and it changes the whole cultural setup of a club. And obviously LA, big Hispanic population, and going in the 90s, that was very important in the formation of how that club began. But I always think that's a really great thing to see. With all the Portuguese players at Wolves, there's suddenly loads of Portuguese people in the crowd.
Yeah.
It changes the setup and the dynamic.
Fellas from Gornal really liking pastel di nata.
Exactly.
Sharon, have you tried them custard tarts?
Exactly.
Bloody hell. You get raspberry ones now and all. Great. They're great. Needs to be crispy though. The pastry needs to be flaky. They're now good when they're soft.
Old Trafford used to have the flags of every international country of the players in the current squad that was up there. So that's like a real. It's interesting you saying that. It's a bit like Park Ji-sung, for instance, when he played for us. The same. Like, so if you're a South Korean person, to see
Yeah,
that
imagine
flag
that.
at the
Imagine
top of Old
looking up.
Trafford because of one player.
Imagine looking up and seeing that.
Yeah.
Imagine how that would spur you on.
It's similar, but 96, there would have been Salvadorians and Mexicans living in Galaxy for years, living in Los Angeles for years and never been able to see professional football or follow a team, and their identity through football couldn't be expressed. And we know this. We've just made a documentary about the first ever professional tournament there, right?
Yeah.
So to suddenly have, and he was like the idol of the El Salvadorian national team. He'd quit it for a bit and whatever, but he was their player. And similarly, Campos. We all know about the impact Campos had. He played in goal and up front. Scored in MLS Cup finals as a number 9 and played in goal. And I just class the kits as well from that time.
Oh yeah, everyone a banger.
Yeah, there's not a bad kit.
There's not.
There's not a bad kit from that first season in MLS.
Yeah. And I know the guys at Classic Football Shirts say that some of those ones can go, like you mentioned there about the Cienfuegos one, but they can go for big numbers because people are desperate to.
What, the MLS?
Yeah, the MLS
that first
one.
season, yeah.
Really?
The first season, yeah, because the history around it, but also the designs are next level, you know.
I mean, the story Kobe Jones told us about the opening game at the Rose Bowl when they didn't know if anyone was going to turn up, and it was full. And the Rose Bowl's 80,000.
Yeah.
6 weeks before, they'd been training in the car park there and having to pick up broken bottles and stuff like that. And they turned up and they were having to they had all these plastic sheets or big sheets across
across the seats because they were worried that they didn't want it.
They didn't want it looking like empty seats. They were having to go out and rip them off before the game to get more people in. There was fucking tailbacks of people not being able to get in. Like everyone was trying to get there. It became this huge thing.
Yeah.
Like fucking miles and miles of traffic to get out to the Rose Bowl.
Reminds me of one of my gigs.
But it's come full circle because the El Tráfico derby, the LA Galaxy v LAFC, that's recently sold out the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
So it's come full circle in 25, 26 years, which is huge. Take it away, Tommy.
Mascots of the world, unite and take over.
Seb, do your Morrissey. People would like to hear it. Go on, just do it. People would like to hear it.
Give the people what they want.
Have a bang on it, Seb. Come on, brother.
Mascots. I can't do it. That was half Kermit and half. I can't do it. I'm not very good.
It's more like Robin.
Just do your version of it.
Mascots of the world, unite and take over.
Oh, it's another one that's better than Birdo's. Let's hear yours again.
Mascots of the world, unite and take over. Kermit the Frog.
Mascots of the world, unite and take over.
It's good.
Yeah, no, you're all quite good at it. You know, you're not.
But yours is my favourite.
It's a banging.
It's not the best,
Well,
but it's my favourite.
I'm actually doing Morrissey. You're just sort of all singing quite nicely.
Is it McCrooney?
I'm in the zone.
David Morrissey, the actor. Yeah. Clinton Morrison.
Neil Morrissey.
Yeah, Neil Morrissey. Men behaving sadly. Right.
Yes, very good, very good.
Mascots of the world, unite and take over. It is James Bird, who only seems to talk about bloody mascots these days. He is obsessed with them, and funnily enough, on you go. If anyone knows where we can get James some Ritalin off script so he doesn't have to go to the doctors, it's been going on too long now, and it will help his life
Your
immeasurably.
duck's good though, Tweety. That's good.
That is good.
Not bad, is it?
It's really
It was
good.
like a duck. I thought it was a man walking in snow in big boots.
That's good.
So, Mascots of the World, Unite and Take Over, episode 29. And we're going to Preston North End.
Oh, yeah.
A founding member of the Football League, of course.
Of course.
And for the past 27 years, their mascot has been a duck.
Why?
The Deepdale duck. Now, why is a very interesting question, Owen. Because a lot of Preston fans don't know themselves. So I went deep. Didn't I? I went into the forums.
You went Deepdale.
I went Deepdale. I went wading. Wading through the reeds. And
We should have got Seb to do that. He's the only one who's got webbed feet.
and according to there's a brilliant on the Preston North End forum PNE forum. There is a brilliant.
You even go on forums of other clubs, you're mad cunt.
Well, it's where you find the gold, man. It's where you find what real people are talking about.
The Gullet Scarhem, come on.
Anyway, PNE Saint was his username, and he set up a thread trying to find out why their mascot is a duck. Now, there's quite a few different theories, but the one that they seem to agree most on was that Deepdale, Preston's stadium, was built on Deepdale Farm. And Deepdale Farm was mostly dairy, but they had crops as well. But they did have other animals. And another, they had pigs as well. They kept cats, all sorts of animals on the farm.
Yeah.
And there were also ducks. And because duck
Brilliant.
is alliterates with Deepdale, the mascot became the Deepdale Duck. Now there was another thread on this forum that suggested that they actually kept mostly lambs, and that when in the mid 90s, when they were sort of sorting out who was going to represent them, that a lamb was chosen. The mascot should have been a sheep, a lamb. But apparently the chairman at the time decided that the costume for the lamb was too expensive. And the duck was cheaper. So they went with the duck.
So I believe, James, that the Deepdale Duck, a bit of a character.
He's a bit of a character. So just very briefly, to take it on even further, another theory on top of this about the farm is that the centre circle is actually where the duck pond was.
Yeah, it sounds a bit like fucking crop circles, this. Come on, tell us about the duck.
So
I like the theory.
The duck since the mid-90s was inside the duck was a man called Simon Nash, and Simon got up to some mischief, shall we say. He famously, in the 2011 season, interrupted Mark Clement live from the tunnel as he was broadcasting on BBC. And this was during a game against Derby, who had Stephen Bywater in goal. And throughout the second half, the Deepdale Duck is just pissing Bywater off. He's just nattering, having a pop at him. He gets chucked out. The Deepdale Duck gets marched out by two stewards.
And this is the home game.
Yeah.
His own stewards are chucking him out.
You've been there.
He has to go around off. He has to go around off the pitch in front of the fans as well. Frog marched out of the stadium.
That is.
And
I watched this last night, by the way, and everyone should watch this. Like, search it, pause it, search it. It's brilliant.
A couple of weeks later, Sheffield United were playing Doncaster, and Sheffield United's mascot, Captain Blade, held a one-man protest at half-time, saying, and he held a sign up saying, "Free the Preston One."
It was back to the Deepdale Duck.
So Deepdale Duck, mischievous. There was also a game apparently against Blackburn where he kept leaning on Tim Flowers' post, and Tim Flowers was getting very annoyed about it. But as all good mascots do, and I believe Simon Nash was a much loved character inside the Deepdale Duck costume. Did loads and loads of brilliant stuff in the community. I think he was a very well respected duck. But unfortunately, Simon's fell ill in the last year or so, and the Deepdale Duck has been retired. They said that they didn't want anybody else inside the duck, and Simon's had to retire through illness. So I hope he's doing well.
There literally is only one Deepdale Duck.
And there is only one Deepdale Duck. And I believe that Preston North End are currently holding a competition with children in the local area to decide who the new mascot is going to be. Well, there you go, Deepdale Duck.
Lovely.
And Simon, I hope all the best. I hope you're doing
all the best, Simon.
It's dark in the evening, it's dark in the mornings, and the world is pretty miserable. What you need in your life is more joy. And issue 28 of Mundam Magazine is celebrating the joy of attacks. The 3 R's, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho and Rivaldo. We've got Romario, Stoichkov, Steve Bull, Statman Dave off the radio, he's in it. He's talking about Ronaldo, Rooney and Tevez, and Seb talking about a couple of Yeovil players nobody else can remember the name of. You wouldn't have it any other way. Go to mundammag.com now to subscribe or find out more. "101 Things to Do in Football Before You Die" is Seb.
Yes, it's me. And this week, I'm going to be talking and imploring you all to get your own flag made to take to the match.
Get the flags in.
So, it's fair to say, over my football past, I've had a few.
Your storied football history.
It did all start with my dad. 'Cause remember, my dad had a couple of real old school bed sheet and spray paint ones, like Man United ones.
I love a DIY.
With a real
thing that-
crusty, like the paint. He had it for years.
with some crusty shit on it.
No. The paint was really crusty. I remember being, but
What were the flags? What did they say on them?
one just said MUFC rule OK or something like that. It was real 70s old school.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Yeah, with like a, and he'd spray painted a devil that looked like it was punching.
Fucking get it.
Yeah. It was quite artistic. First one of my own was the day before Yeovil played Arsenal in the FA Cup in 1993, which was a huge game for Yeovil because it basically saved them from bankruptcy. My stepmum basically spent most of the day before, while we all watched, making a flag for us, which was white with a green cross and then a Yeovil badge in the middle and YTFC. So that was the first one I had, 1993. And that
How old were you then, Seb?
I was 13.
Wow.
So we were.
And was it your idea? Were you like, Mom, I want the flag?
We wanted a flag. I wanted a flag to take to a game. It was a thing. I wanted my own flag. I'd seen a couple of flags. There was always a Union Jack with Yeovil Town on it. And, there weren't loads at Yeovil games by any stretch of the imagination, but I wanted,
The one you had yourself, did you take it around a lot? Did
Yeah,
it
yeah,
become, Did it
definitely
become a
that one.
fixture? Because our friend of the pod, friend of the mag, Joe Connolly has the Certain Style of Life one, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Which is a famous Liverpool flag now.
Exactly. So, and then as I got a bit older and when I moved up to Manchester, I wanted to sort of put my stamp on,
Branch out.
So I got a Northern Greens one done, which said Northern Greens on to victory on it.
How
again.
many Northern Greens were there?
This was my question.
This is Northern Greens. Oh, there was a few of us. Oh, God.
How many?
Yeah. At least a dozen.
What did the Northern Greens used to get up to?
Well, this is a season when we were really good, so we would quite often go to home games.
All of you?
Not all of us, but there would be someone going down from the Northern Greens. One bloke from Manchester who was one of the nicest people in his old Ford Cortina. We would drive down the motorway to go, because Yeovil were really good. This is when they were winning the league.
Smoke billowing out the windows.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was brilliant. But so I had a couple of Northern Green. I had a big. My dad lives on a boat. I don't know if I've mentioned that. I can't remember if I've mentioned that before. If you don't know, my dad lives on a boat, and he managed to chat to someone one night, and he managed to get a big ensign from someone who used to be in the Royal Navy. So I did that all up. Yeovil Town FC in one corner, the badge in the other.
Oh my God.
Northern Greens and onto victory, all that malarkey. But it was a proper big one, like a really
How big we talking ish?
10 foot, at least 10 foot long.
Class.
Yeah. A
So
proper
Seb,
flag.
with that, would you get to the ground and hang it up?
Oh, absolutely.
Like one of the
There's a
other
real buzz about that. I know it sounds stupid.
It doesn't
there
sound.
is.
It doesn't sound stupid.
There
It
is.
might sound stupid. Okay, it doesn't. But it's going to games, and especially with Yeovil, you go to away ends and stuff like that weren't necessarily, it wasn't like heaving full of people.
Yeah.
But there might be 60, 70, 100, 150 of us.
Yeah.
But to put your flag out and to plant your flag, it is
You were
it's
saying
a thing.
we're here.
We're here.
Yeah.
We're here. So I had that. There's loads of pictures of me at various grounds, Bolton away and Blackpool away and things like that. Yeah, it was a thing. And then, but I think probably the best flag we had when I moved down to London, I decided that I needed to have a flag that had Yeovil on it somewhere with where I was currently living. So the Capital Glovers, we got a Yeovil flag. We got a flag, and we were going to we decided to go and have a weekend away and watch some football, and we chose Bilbao.
Oh.
And obviously the Basque flag is very it's
Emblematic.
Union Jack-esque, isn't it? Without obviously the connotations that the Union Jack flag brings, and obviously more importantly, is green.
Yeah.
So we were like, let's do that. So we got a Capital Glovers one, and that still goes round today. It's passed around from various Capital Glovers to Capital Glovers. I had to go and pick it up from Waterloo Station the other week to then give it to someone else, and it still gets passed around. And
How old's that flag?
that flag's about 10, 12 years old now.
Wow.
Yeah. No, 2011. Yeah, 12 years old.
Brilliant.
The amount of times it gets left at away grounds. I mean, I had to pick it up from bloody Hampton and Richmond because they all forgot it because they were all too pissed.
Really?
Yeah. You forget, but
Do you speak to it? Hello, old
there's a
friend.
real thing about planting your flag, and I would say it's a lot of fun. makes for great pictures and great memories when you're looking back on it. We were just looking at the Bilbao ones the other day, you know.
If Rebecca let you, would you have a flagpole in your garden?
Yeah.
Genuine question.
No, I wouldn't. No. It's not. It's an English thing, isn't it? And you know, when you look at when you go to World Cups, European Championships, there isn't anyone else that brings as many flags. I would say there might be different type. Ultras might do some slightly different choreography and tifos.
Tifos are different to flags, aren't they?
No, they are exactly. But England fans. Yes, the name of some.
Oh my God! There's those pictures from Italia '90 taken by Mark Leach when there's all the
Union Jacks rather than St George's.
It
as
was
well,
then.
wasn't it?
It was then with like Macclesfield on and stuff like that. And obviously there is connotations to it, but it's some fucking great images.
Yeah.
Big running track around a stadium.
Well, there's one that says no poll tax, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yes.
They've been used as more than that, as well as they've been used to, you know, for political sloganeering and people sticking up, you know, and refugees welcome and things like that. And, you know, we're at a time at the moment where Celtic fans have been, Green Brigade have been banned home and away for displaying Palestinian flags.
Yeah.
So they're playing a very important part in
Expressing an identity.
Yeah.
West District and Chorlton, we always did that. Like whatever sort of political, topical thing it was, whether it was Palestine or we made one with the West District and Chorlton badge with the European, navy blue background.
Yeah.
The West badge in the middle and then the stars around it.
It's funny you did that because at the same time, Seb had a big green one with Farage on the front.
And the Spitfire in the background.
But it gives you a representation of how you as the main fan group are feeling about
The Wolves flaggers.
Not, I mean, that there are some, but not big time. But
Well, no, the biggest Wolves flagger, sorry, just to cut in, is even grown up watching Glastonbury coverage, there's always that one.
there's two. There's two.
With just the wolf sign, and it's been part of Glastonbury coverage as much as anything.
Yeah,
hasn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I think what you're saying there, Tom, I think that I remember speaking to the Port Vale historian. I interviewed him for a film we were making, and he said that for him, one of the reasons that he has been going to every Port Vale match for 50 years was because it's the one moment where you get a huge group of people coming together for one thing. And when you have that, no matter what it's for, people want to express their opinions about things, about society, about who they are. So for you, Seb, that's you know, planting your flag as we're from Yeovil, we represent this town, even though we're from the north. If you're doing something to do with politics, it's about showing how you feel. And they become part of a natural choreography. Like, I mean, Owen, you wanted to talk about Pete Carney from Liverpool.
We had an amazing. I mean, obviously Liverpool well known for an array of brilliant flags over the years, right back to the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
You know, the famous one about Joey eating the frog's legs and making the Swiss roll, and now he's munching Gladbach and stuff like that.
Yep.
But Carney, we had a piece in the magazine a while ago, which the Guardian took as well, by a writer called Davy Brett, and he did a piece with Peter Carney, the Anfield's flag maker in chief, and it was one of my favourite pieces. Because it was a real insight into some craft that you never really get to talk about, really, because there's a lot of coverage of, you know, sort of tifos.
Yep.
But this is different. This is someone sitting down and thinking about the flag and thinking about how it's going to resonate for the crowd and what it's going to do and what it means to them, and then taking that out wearing.
Yeah.
I'm not doing tifos down because I think there's some amazing ones.
Oh no,
Like some of the Italian ones are incredible.
I actually interviewed Peter Carney for something else not too long ago, and he's an incredibly intelligent man who talks about his processes with those flags beautifully. His Hillsborough flag is one that he's been constantly working and updating on. He talks about it wanting to trigger all the senses. So there's real flowers that he puts in the pockets that he's made. The textures are all different so that people who might not be able to see can touch it until that story. And he talks about his work as Liverpool's sort of flag maker in chief. He talks about it as the Scouse Bayo tapestry. That his flags are there to tell the socio-political, economic stories of Liverpool as a city, and those flags that you see during COVID, the flags that he made, they hung in the Kop end when there were no people, when there were no fans allowed in. So Peter Carney, I think, you know, we talk about Yeovil, capital Glovers as place. Peter Kahn is constantly trying to tell stories with his flags, and he's a really special guy. His work was actually in the Design Museum's Football Design in the Beautiful Game exhibition. They had the huge Hillsborough flag hung up in the exhibition space.
Issue 28 of Mundial is out now, and it's crammed full of brilliant football stories that you won't read anywhere else. For instance, there's an amazing story of the social history of Besiktas and their fans. There's a ridiculous photo story of scarecrows being made in the fields of France. There's our editorial director, Owen Blackhurst, who is pretending to pump some iron over in the corner of the room at me, talking about what it would be like to go to the gym with all sorts of footballers and managers. And then there's the cover story, which is all about the most joyful attacks in history. Go to mundialmag.com to subscribe.
Ins and outs, outs and ins. This is the end of the podcast, which people seem to like. It's where we talk about stuff that we've liked and haven't liked. I'm going to start with James Bird because I want this one done and dusted. Because I've heard this story IRL every winter for the past 8 years, every day.
Just souping it up, baby.
What does that mean?
Soup season.
What does that mean?
Just soups in, a lot of soups.
In Seb.
Yeah. Mine is, I agree. Mine is getting the steps in. The weather might not be so good at the moment, and I think
it's hard, Seb. You know, it is hard. I've managed to get my yearly average up for this year, this calendar year, to over 10,000, and I need a strong finish to the year to get it for the whole year. Yeah. But yeah, it's challenging at the moment.
It's challenging, but you always feel better for it. Like, can I be asked to go and get a sandwich or go and get a coffee from around there?
Can I be asked to walk 45 yards? All right, Homer.
No, but especially when it might be pissing down, it might be really cold, but actually there's nothing better than just getting the yard.
I walked.
There really isn't.
It's about a 45-minute walk to the station for me, and I did it this morning. And then, but taking the extra steps, I'm on about like fucking getting your head down and walking up the escalators at tube stations, not standing.
100%.
Get the pistons powering.
Just get them in, yeah.
Getting the steps in is
it's going through the gap, the left lane.
Definitely. I always do that.
Yeah.
Left lane. Although the other night I knew I was going to be short, and it becomes a bit of an obsession, doesn't it? So it wasn't raining, so I had to go to a supermarket. So I parked, and it's quite a big supermarket car park because there's a Lidl.
Do you get the laps going?
I did,
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
did 2 laps of the big car park, then went into Sainsbury's, then came back out, put my shopping back in the car, did a couple more laps, and went home.
Like it.
Done. Ticked off. Walking's the most human thing you can do. No, this isn't. This isn't a debate. It's a fact.
Yeah.
Walking is the most human thing you can do.
In terms of movement, yeah.
It's a movement, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Running's not.
Picking your nose, it's quite human.
Running's not fun. Walking's fun.
Running's shit. Running's for cunts. Tommy.
Squash, the sport, I do not like doing.
It's going to be about juice.
Well, no, sadly not. I realised I was actually putting on more weight when I went to the gym because I was over-rewarding myself and like building up, maybe too much muscle for my natural sort of body size. And
Or were you just eating too much?
Oh, mainly that.
Can't out-train a bad diet, Tom.
Exactly.
It's all got to start with nutrition, brother.
But I get very bored exercising on my own. Don't like the gym or running, etc. I like exercising.
You and me both, mate.
I like exercising through competitive sports.
Yeah.
And you can't play cricket really throughout the winter. I play the odd football match here and there, but squash, I found tranquility in squash. Just there's 5 or 6 of us and we rotate.
You do it every week, don't you?
Every week, yeah. Without fail, yeah.
You got your own squash ladder.
What do you mean?
Little ladder, a league.
A table. No, but I know who I've beat and who I need to beat more.
Get a table going.
I was going to say, yeah.
Well, I'm going to
make it
join
over competitive. In my original, it's in time. My original today was about training with someone because in all of my my increasing visits to the gym this year and the 4-time-a-week program I've been on, I've done 99% of the workouts on my own. But Zach started coming with me recently. But until the other night, he does his own thing, I do my own thing. But the other night it was just busy, and he went, "Fucking hell, I can't get on anything." I said, "Well, you may as well just do what I'm going to do then, and we'll just share all the machinery." And we did, and it was good. I ended up, he had me filming his form for him and stuff like that.
Oh,
and
nice.
Nice.
Talking him through the last 2 reps and him doing the same for me. Yeah, it was. It was quite nice actually. I put it in.
In.
Outs. James Bird. Here we go again. Fucking hell.
Soft apples.
All right, Ken Loach.
Soft apples. You know when you're looking forward to a nice, crisp, juicy bite.
They've just been out too long and haven't been in the fridge.
Well, I would say not always that. I would say that sometimes the apples that you get from the supermarket are already far too gone.
Brexit. Blame Brexit.
Yeah, what's your favourite apple? If you had to pick one apple to eat for the rest of your life, one brand of apple.
Yeah, okay. Do you mean like what? Not a brand, a type.
Same fucking deal, brother.
Probably a Braeburn, but I do like a russet at this time of year.
Nice, Seb.
I'm a Braeburn man, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Tommy?
Allergic to apples.
Oh.
Yeah.
Blimey.
I developed that when I was like 15. It's like a pollen thing, so it makes, it's not going to kill me, it just makes my
the
lips
skin.
and swell up. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I like a jazz.
Yeah.
And occasionally a pink lady, but that's enough about that.
You two eat the whole thing, though, don't you?
Not anymore, no. Fucking hell. I've been eating every bit of the apple,
Yeah.
apart from the stalk, for years. And someone
I still do it.
questioned me on it. I still do it. Someone questioned me on the office in it a couple of weeks ago. Said, "What are you doing, you mad cunt?" I said, "Well, I just eat the whole apple, all the pips and everything." I said, "Why?" I said,
What's wrong with it?
"Well, when I was little, my nan used to say to me, if you carry on eating the pips, Owen, an apple tree would grow out of you." And I said, "You're a liar." So I tried to prove her wrong.
You're a liar, Greg.
Nan, you're lying to me. You're lying to me. So I kept eating, and I'd go to her all the time. Well, it hasn't grown out of me yet. It will. Don't you worry. It will. And it never did. But then my missus told me apple seeds are full of cyanide. So
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
bloody hell.
James, you crack on, brother.
I'm cracking on.
Seb.
Losing your back door keys twice in 1 week. I've lived in my house for 4 years, and I've somehow contrived to lose both my back door keys, which has mean I've not been able to go out and empty the bins or get the recycling in. It means I've had to spend a good proportion of my free time this week going through bins to look to see if I can find it, rather than ringing an expensive locksmith. So keep an eye on your back door keys.
I've had
That's
the
all
key
I
to
say.
your back door for a while, Seb.
Yeah.
Oh,
So you can't get into your garden, can you?
No, I can't get into my garden.
How's the only way you can get into your garden at the moment?
By climbing out of my kitchen window, which is really hard because I'm 6'4", and there's a cupboard right next to the window. So I jimmied myself out of it. And then obviously when I landed out of falling out of the window, so to speak, I split the garden sofa
Oh, have you?
cover, yeah. Which I haven't told Mrs. White about yet. She doesn't listen to this
God.
podcast. So.
She'll find out.
find out,
won't
yeah.
she? So we could literally go around the Whites any night of the week, and you'd be hanging out the back of your own house.
I tried it once when it was too dark and I got stuck. There's few things sadder than going for your own rubbish, looking for something.
At least it wasn't
and
your
not
own
finding
shit.
it. No, true, yeah.
Not
But
after
it's
last
It
time.
wasn't an ideal, so just keep an eye on your keys.
Tommy.
Pretending you don't like the Beatles because it's just nonsense. I think undeniably
Seb doesn't like him.
you don't like them.
I'm not asked about them.
Really?
I have to say.
But okay, but you don't go around going the Beatles are shit. Like,
Oh, God, no,
and
not
there's
sh-
plenty of people who do that.
He
Plenty of-
made
I just don't.
You made a flag for Yeovil for one of them.
No, I'm just not. I'm just not that asked.
That's fine. That's fine. But there's
yeah.
people who go out of their way to say, "Oh, they're shit," or like overrated, things like that. And it's just this contrary way that people are these days, especially on X or fucking Twitter or whatever it is. I just, let people be people. Let Beatles be Beatles. Let it be.
Let it be. There we go.
Got there in the end.
Pretending you don't like the Beatles. I mean, if people are being contrarian and doing stuff like that, out. I don't really have an out. Actually, I did have it, but we've talked about it. I would say the out is going to be it's an in really is caring too much, because we've just launched a Mundial Discord, which some of you will be in by now, and it's another thing to do. And want it to be very easy to say, oh, we're just going to see how it develops and see what happens and let the community manage it. We're all fucking in there now, aren't we?
Oh, yeah.
It's good fun.
We're all in there. It's good fun. And what we're going to try and do with it is make it like Twitter was in 2010, where it's like your favourite pub on a Friday night. So we'll be doing more things in there. And if you haven't had an invite code yet, it's only because we're testing it because of some various other apps and bolt-ons we've got to do to it. So not being able to fucking resist making anything we do good.
Yeah.
It's my out.
Discord in the sky with diamonds.
Doo-doo, doo-doo.
Discord in the sky with diamonds.
Seb hasn't got a fucking clue what we're on about.
Nothing wrong with Discord.
What do you mean?
Discord.
Those chords, Those chords. There's plenty wrong
Seb's
with
right
them.
chord.
Are they wide whale? What chord are them?
White
Answer the
whale.
man.
That's good.
This has been Reminding You I Love Football. We've been recording at Spiritland. We love it. We would like you to review, rate and share. New issue of Mundam Magazine coming up. We'd like you to subscribe. There's going to be a new yearly subscription offer
Oh yes.
from tomorrow, I believe, which is going to be available for a few days and then available again around Christmas. So we're giving people different options on the way they can subscribe to the magazine. Now, there may be some free gifts. There may not. You may get James Bird round your house screaming at footballs and mangling Beatles songs. You might get Seb round there with his muzzy and losing your keys. Or you might get Tommy round there wearing your slippers and fucking your wife.
Or husband.
Oh Christ! That Vincent Del Bosco gift there, just
Yeah, it's so good, that gift.
Reminding You Why You Love Football is a Mundial and Football co-production. Produced by Tommy Stewart and Seb White, hosted by me, Owen Blackhurst, and recorded on the run.